Alright, welcome everyone to another RFC Reviews. I'm your host, Diecast, and today we have FT-20 Fans Toys Terminus Giganticus, or I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sure he has another name. I believe he has another name also, but this is their Omega Supreme. And what I have here is I wanted to show you everything that comes in the box. So we have on this side, this is part B, which is the two legs and the rocket or the arms, and on this side we have the tank and the two track pieces and the backpack, and you also get these additional pieces. This is for the front of the crotch, and this is an alternate chest piece, which is translucent red instead of solid red. So just wanted to first start off exactly how you're going to get it out of the packaging, and let's go ahead and we'll get this stuff out of the way and then we'll go through it piece by piece. Alright, so here we have the main tank piece, which is obviously the main part of part A, and this is the piece you're going to want to go ahead and what we'll do is we'll transform to Omega and then go into his base mode. I think that makes the most sense. So here you have Omega and how he should come out of the package. And first thing we want to do, we're going to come to the side and just rotate down these side panels and fold them in. Do that on the other side, rotate down these side panels, fold them in. Then you can see there's some die cast bits right here, hinges, so you can bring this piece down and collapse in just like that. And do the same thing on the other side, just lift it up and then push it back in just like that. Then you're going to come down to the legs, and this is honestly one of the scariest parts, and just so I don't forget, I'll do mention he does have working treads, which is kind of weird just for the fact that when he is in tank mode, there is a little tab right underneath the bottom so you can get your nail in there. My nails just aren't that long, so I do have a tool to get in there. But even though those treads do move very nicely, when the wheels are down, it rolls on the wheels and not the treads. So if you are rolling it around, you're not going to use those treads at all. But let's go ahead and get back into transformation. This is probably the scariest part. These joints right here are his actual leg joints or hip joints, and they are so tight you feel like you're actually going to break something just by rotating them down. But let's go ahead, rotate them down, just angle them out for a second. Then we're going to come up to these side pieces and pull them straight out. You can see more die cast pieces. There is a lot of die cast in this figure. Also come up to Omega Supreme's back, flip down this panel, and flip his head up for now. And then we'll bring this piece on his back up, and this folds up and tabs in. And you want to bring this back piece all the way up. And now that he's opened up, just like this, I'll raise up the camera a little bit. Now we can rotate this centerpiece all the way around. And you bring these sides back up and tab them all together. Make sure that's nice and tight. Then this chest piece you can flip back around, just like that. And then this waist you can collapse, and he does have a rotating waist joint. So now that we got that, all you have to do is flip around the face, and there is a switch here for a light up function. So let's go ahead and we'll show that off right now. And this is a test shot, so the switch did, on this one, the switch is kind of broken. But there you go, there are his eyes lit up. And you can kind of see really nice blue through the visor. You can even still see his eyes lit up. Really nice. So let's go ahead and I'll just turn that feature off. And again, the face does rotate around very nicely. And that just turned it off. So that is, other than these flaps that I forgot on the back, there are these flaps right here that'll rotate around and kind of fill in that gap. There you have the main part of A. Now you have the backpack section, which does have the pieces of the arms. And basically what you want to do on this is you want to rotate these pieces on the backpack around till they're that way. Same thing on this side. Just rotate them all the way around, and that'll allow the arms to flip out. Then you can put this on Omega. What I like to do is I like to clip in these front pieces. You'll see the tab right here and the slot right there. I like to clip them in first. And we'll turn Omega around and then just bring the backpack down the rest of the way. And it'll tab in right here on the back, kind of right there, and also on this piece right there. So there you have the backpack all tabbed in. And now we can come up and take his beautiful, beautiful tracks. There's some nice silver and gunmetal paint applications on here. And they're the same on both sides, so it doesn't matter which side you put each in. And then they will slot in right there. And they just plug right in, just like that. And I'll do both at the same time because it is a very secure connection. So it actually takes some pulling apart to get apart. Takes some pulling apart to get apart. Yeah, absolutely. So there you have part A in all his glory. You can see not much of a robot yet, but he will be with some arms and legs. So he's a little back heavy with this piece on. He can't stand on these tread legs, so just put him down for now. And luckily the other parts we don't have too much transformation to do. Bring the legs in first. I think this is the biggest figure I've ever reviewed, so bear with me. what you want to do on the legs is you're just going to pop these open just like that. You can see some more die cast pieces in here for these joints, which is absolutely awesome. And then we're going to take Omega's legs, or track pieces, and then there's a little groove right there that pulls out these squares, and then these squares are going to plug into that right there, just like that. And the same thing on this side. And then you can just bring these pieces up and squeeze them together. And there you have Omega all standing up. And we'll push him back just a tad, and we'll raise the camera up. Oh, I can't even go up that high. There we go. I'm gonna have to angle up just a little bit, and then we're gonna take the shuttle piece, and this easily breaks off into two pieces, and then open this up and just rotate out this arm piece. This will flip down. You want to make sure that this front piece on this side, this is missing one of the covers. Again, it is a test shot, but just want to slide this piece open, make sure that piece is in front, because there's one side, that side you can't latch onto, but the back side you can. So just push that on, close up that flap on the back, so it'll look just like that. Again, you can hear those really nice ratchets. And then this kind of already came undone itself. You can just pull this out and tab these pieces in. And then if you want to turn on his laser, what you do is you just rotate that, flip the little switch, and then there you have Omega Laser. We'll turn that off. I don't want to waste any of the batteries on this. And finally, we'll come down to his other arm. Do the same thing. Open this up, flip this around, open up that panel, and then just slide that on and close that up. And there you have Omega with his claw. And again, there is a lot of things you can get him to hold. We'll get something heavy here. This is the knockoff upscaled Masterpiece Bumblebee, because it's handy. And you can see he can hold Bumblebee no problem. And Bumblebee is very, very heavy. Actually, his arm ratchets. Here's a typical deluxe figure, and you'll see that he can hold that just fine. And it's a very, very nice, very huge figure. Just for size comparison, we'll bring in Trypticon. Alright, so here he is with Trypticon, just to give you a size comparison. And he is a very, very big bot. And also, I did weigh him. He's about 11 pounds. He is a very, very big boy. And let's go ahead and just get Trypticon out of the way. And then what I do want to show off is this center chest section. Here you have the crotch piece that you just slides in right there and flips down if you want to have that going on. And I like the red. It's all solid red until you get up to this piece. I almost wish this was solid red. Flip this open again, and then you can just turn this, it'll slide off, and then you can slide the new chest section on, and that is with the translucent chest section. And I think I prefer that better just because it's a little bit more blended in with this clear red or translucent red piece up here. So, and this piece, honestly, I'm usually one way or the other. I can't really tell my own what I like better. So, plug that in there. Okay, so I just transformed the G1 Omega Supreme, actually for the first time. This is not a fun toy. There's so many pieces on this. Yes, this is a parts former still, but the fact that you really only have, you know, 4 or 5 main pieces is absolutely amazing, because this guy is just, he's not a fun toy. He's pieces galore. And just to see the size can differ, just to see the size difference, he's about 3 times as big as the original Omega Supreme. So, but you can see there's a lot of cues from the original toy. The red center. The arms are kind of roughly the same shape. Backpack, this guy looks so much better, as all the Fans Toys stuff does. So let's go ahead and actually we'll rotate him around to the back just so we can also get a quick look at the back of the figure. And here you have the back, and you even still get some of the same cues. Nice little triangle symbols all on the back. The jetpack, the wings, of course. A little bit of the treads. They even added that into the back of the legs, which is a really nice touch. Like I said, I just think Fans Toys absolutely nailed it with this guy. And yeah, so let's get him out of the way. And here he is for some size comparisons. You have some Masterpiece figures or Masterpiece aesthetic figures. You have MP10, Masterpiece Bumblebee, Masterpiece Ironhide, and of course Masterpiece Phoenix or Skyfire from Fans Toys. One of my all-time favorite figures. And then you also have Bad Cube's Grump down there, looking really small. But there's some size comparisons for you, some additional size comparisons for you. Then some of the other features on Masterpiece Omega Supreme. I think there's a light in here. And that one just has a little switch right there that you can turn on, and it just twists in just like the other arm. That way, if you want to give his claw a light, you can. And then for the final light on this guy, we're going to open his chest up. And then open this panel right here. And you can see there's a switch up here that you can switch on. You get a nice blue light. And the reason you get a blue light, it's not a Kmart special. It's if you have MP10's matrix, you can plug that in and light up the matrix and give him the matrix of leadership for safekeeping. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll try and tackle articulation. I'll do this the best I possibly can. His arm is on a very nice ratchet. You can go up all the way. You can go down all the way. You can go out a full 90 degrees. Have a rotation at the upper arm. You do have 90 degrees at the elbow. And on this side you also have the fingers or claws, which can go in a really decent amount. You got one ratchet on the tip and two at the center. And then like 4 or 5 on the outer part. His waist can rotate. And then you do kind of have to hold the legs or hold the centerpiece. The backpack right here does kind of hinder it, so you can only get a little bit unless you lift this whole piece up, which is then in turn going to lift the backpack up. But then you can get more waist rotation if you want. And then the legs, you do have this butterfly in and out. A lot of people were complaining about this guy that you had to tilt his legs in or back and out to kind of get him to stand or he was going to fall over. I don't have that problem. He is able to stand just fine. He does kind of lean back just a little bit, but all I have to do to alleviate that is just move the legs back a tad. It's not even a ridiculous amount. Just like that, and he is standing up perfectly straight. So certainly the standing issue is not what people made it out to be, or at least what I thought it was going to be from other people when I got this in hand. I was really impressed by that. So he can go up that far with his leg. I know it's kind of hard to see. Kind of move the camera back there a little bit so he can get out that far and then back. And again, you can hear those leg joints are super tight. He can get back even more. And then you can even get his leg back. So you can go back about that far. I'll bring that down. You also got some in and out here. About that far. He will stand straight up if you want him to. Just like that. I had him kind of, and with that straight pose, his hips don't even have to be back. He's standing up perfectly straight right now. A little camera sickness for you. Whoa! It's like Wayne's World. Yeah, really big figure. I even had to redo my backdrop just to get this figure all in one cohesive screen. And then we'll come up to the feet. and the feet do kind of lock in their correct position. Let's see if I can get that. Hopefully I'm getting this on camera. And then he does have a little bit of an ankle tilt in for those wider stances. So he can't, because of his size, he can't get too wide of a stance, but you can get a pretty nice standing stance from him. And this is a 4x4 table, and we're still kind of like, he's at least like 2 foot wide in his stance. He is just a really, really big dude. And just for official measurements, I know we did some size comparisons already. To the top of his head, he's about 22.5 inches. And to the wings, he's about 26 inches tall, which is a little over 2 foot. It's about 2 foot and 2 inches. So just a really big figure, and there's a lot of nice tampograph details on this guy, on his arms, on the inside of the legs. You can see some tampografs here and here, and then over here on the arm, on the inner parts of the legs. There's also some nice silver bits, some dark gunmetal bits and silver bits. Just some gunmetal and silver again up here. Get the gunmetal here. Head, I forgot to mention, you can rotate a full 360, and you can put his tank piece up or back at whatever angle you desire. And then you can open this up and move the head just a little bit if you want some extra head turning action. Just this may not close 100, yeah, but it still will. So you get a little bit of head turning action going on inside the head, inside the helmet if you want. And again, I think my favorite way to pose Omega is with this screen open. Just gives you a nice clean look at that beautiful face. And let's see, did I do all the articulation? Yes, I did. I think I did. Woo! This guy's actually making me sweat. This is the first review where I'm actually sweating doing this review. So, but just a fun toy. And let's go ahead and disassemble him, and we'll get into his base mode. So what we're going to do for that, I like to start by taking off the arms. And again, if you need to get in there, you just rotate at the upper part of the arm. You can flip that down a lot easier. And just slide that off. And you're going to open this back up and just put this back in. And you'll see this little panel come out right here, which kind of fills in this section where his arm could go. And then just going to undo these little bits right there. Push that all the way down, and then just tab in those side bits again. And there you have the top half of the rocket. Do the same thing on this side. Get that door open. Close that up. Open this up. And rotate this back in. And close that back up. Open up the hand, a claw, and then we'll just connect this together and put that off to the side. Next thing you want to do is take the backpack off. And then take this section, make sure those arms are all the way out, rotate it in, and then you just turn this all the way around. Same thing on this one. Bring the arm up, bring that in, turn that all the way around, and that hole keeps everything in nice and tight. And then you just want to pull out the wings, which will become the track pieces. Again, you kind of have to wiggle them back and forth. Very secure fit. And then these track pieces, they just open up on this hinge right there. Just like that. I'll put that one right there. Same thing on this one, just open that up. The painted details go on the bottom side. It'll do that. Now what we want to do is we want to open up these leg pieces here, his upper thighs. We'll pull this whole tank piece out. We'll put that off to the side for now. And I'll drop the camera down. Let's go ahead and work on these leg sections. You already have this split. Now you want to do is pull this front section out just a tad. As you'll see, there's a clip right there. And then as you pull that out a little bit, you can separate the front. Whoa. Camera malfunction. Separate the front, and this will just drop down just like that. And then you want to separate these two pieces. And they will open butterfly, and then you can just untab the foot and get that out of the way. And then this is a challenge just because of the camera, but you want to, there's a door right here that'll open up on this side, so we'll open that up. We'll bring this ramp out and around, and then this foot, what you want to do is rotate it so it's in like that. That's the only way to have clearance to bring that through. And then I'm not really sure, I don't have instructions with this, so I'm not really sure exactly how the foot's going to go. But what I do is I just bring this in, and then you can rotate this foot around. And again, this is probably the hard foot that I'm doing right now, because there's one that was tearing me up, and the other ones were really, really easy. So There we go. Rotate that around, and then that just kind of sits up in the leg. I'm not exactly sure how it's supposed to sit, or if there's any place for it to lock in. There's none that I see, but if you get it sitting in there, you just want to be able to make sure that this area is flat so it'll lay down properly. And then there are some little pegs in here that can just flip down, just like on this side. You can flip those pegs down. So let's go ahead and try it on this side. Hopefully I did the worst one first. So open that door, take this foot, and we're going to rotate it in and around. And you just kind of got to work it through the best you can. Just be careful not to force anything. And then do the same thing once you get this in. Then you have the fun task of rotating it around again. There we go. And then we'll just sit that in there the same way as we did the other one. Kind of looks like that. And then we can just extend that ramp. And one thing I did forget is there's this little tab right in here that you can flip around to kind of lock this into place. And there you have one side all done. And we'll come over to the other leg. We're going to do the same thing, just pull this apart a little bit to allow this front to split, and this piece will slide down. And then you can butterfly open the leg, take the foot out. We'll put that off to the side for now. And then we have that fun task again of getting these pieces inside the door. Alright, so I had to do that foot off camera. It's very difficult to do in front of the camera, but basically you want to have the leg looking just like that, or the upper part of the thigh. And then you just straighten out these pieces. Bring that down. And of course, now that I got this through, it doesn't want to straighten. There we go. Straighten all that stuff out. And there we have the other side all done. And now we can start to connect the track. And we'll just rotate the camera and go down. That way you can see we take this big long section, which was the leg, and it just tabs on right there on the center part of the track, or the curve end piece of the track. Same thing on this side. Doing the same thing on this side. And right down here. There we go. There we have the track all set up. And we're just going to take these feet pieces that we have. You can rotate the heel in. Rotate the heel in. And then you want to make sure you rotate where these slots are on the inside, just like that. We'll make the ramps go this way. And same thing on this side. Rotate this so the slots are on the inside. Put them down. They can sit just in the center like that. These do have ramps right here that you can open up. Not really sure why. Don't really need them, but they're there, so we'll talk about them. And then you take the backpack, and the backpack will plug in just like this on those 4 slots. There are 4 holes and these 4 tabs. Make sure that's all tabbed in, nice and tight. And you can take the shuttle and place the shuttle right here. And the shuttle does have a feature. If you pull right here where it says no step, open that up. There's a ramp that will slide down, and this little piece comes out to fill it in. And I love that little detail right there. That is excellent. Put that down. And now we just have to come to Omega, the body himself. And first thing you want to do is we'll flip in these pegs on these tracks. Twist this just a little bit. That'll give you some leverage to pull this waist section out. It'll come up to the back, open up these little panels right there. And then we're going to separate these side sections again, just to rotate this all the way around. Close that up, squeeze it together. Take this piece, rotate that around. That way we have our wheels. And we're going to rotate up the track pieces. And I use that butterfly joint just to get that last click. There we go. Again, sweating. This piece cannot stay on there if you are using it, but they did give a section on the bottom that you can plug that into. If you choose to do so, you can either lay it flat like that or just bring it down, and that won't get in the way of anything. You can just bring this section down now, and this will all tab in. And again, this piece is kind of hanging down just a little bit, so I'm just going to remove it. And then we can flip out these side sections again, bring those up, and then there are guns on here. If you lift this panel up, rotate this up and around, and then slide it in. Do the same thing on this side again. Lift that up, lift the gun out, slide that back. And we'll take these side sections, open these up. That fills in the side real nice. Same thing on this side. Flip that up, open that up, and now we'll just raise up the tank. There's a little panel back here to fill in the gap right there. And then the head, you can just open that up and rotate his face around. And there you go. The tank. And you can extend the barrel of the gun. And there you have Omega Supreme in his base mode with tank and everything. So he is very, very big. There are also guns on the top here that can slide out for base mode if you choose, just like that. And again, I just want to bring this around and show how nice that looks with that ramp open. I love that. Or it can be an unofficial Titan Master base, and you can put Titan Masters all around him. He doesn't have any ports for the Titan Masters, but I think that is a really good scale with the Titan Masters. So there you have Omega Supreme. Hopefully I covered everything. It is a very nice toy, very good quality. I highly recommend, if you are an Omega Supreme fan, to pick it up. And I want to thank Hung to Go from 215 Toys. He's the one that let me, he lives in the area that I am in. I'm also in 215, and he was nice enough to lend this to me so I can do the review, so I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to check out a good store, check out 215 Toys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.